Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Do me a favor and, as always, type 5 if you can hear me and see me okay. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. I watched my last video and I noticed that there was some issues with the sound, so please type 5 if you can hear me, and if you can see me just fine, all right? So, man, overnight, overnight, I have been sent this video that I'm sure many people have seen, and if you haven't seen it yet, you'll see it pretty soon. But essentially, what the video is pretty much, the daily press conference dealing with the coronavirus, and a topic was brought up about health disparities, African Americans, and comorbidities, underlying conditions such as high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, those things. You know, the things that we've been talking about over here for the longest. And yes, time in the game, or time in this craft, is extremely important. And that's why I want to get on here. So I'll be re-releasing a video that I did back in December. I did a video back in December, and the reason why I'm putting that video back out is because it really explains what we're seeing right now and what we're about to see, and why what is to come shouldn't make any sense if you're looking at it through a logical lens. If you're looking at it from a very realistic and non-emotional lens, then what's to come and how you should respond and how many will respond won't make sense. And essentially in that video, I'm just talking about, history, the history of us as African Americans here in this country. I'm talking about the history of redlining, Federal Housing Act, Homestead. I'm talking about all of these things that have taken place, but I'm also talking about the policies that have essentially marginalized and pushed aside African Americans to certain areas of the community, and how, based on policies, based on zip codes, based on things that we don't have to touch, certain communities will get and others will not get. Certain communities will have access and others can only dream about having access to certain things. These things that they have access to could be fresh food, fresh water, fresh air, loans, housing loans, and so much more, while the other communities, the other groups, based on their zip code and their geographics, they won't have access to those things. They won't have access to the fresh foods. They won't have access to the home loans or the credit cards, the capital to start their businesses. There's going to be a lot that they won't have. Now, these things are going to become important, especially in the coming days, because you're going to see what I was already talking about, and how living in conditions like that, you may not be destined to be sick, but you are positioned to be sick. Meaning that, yeah, of course, eat fresh foods, eat whole foods, but when you walk out your door, where they at? Yeah, you see the corner mart, you see Popeyes, you see the Chinese restaurant, you see the liquor store. Yeah, you see all those things, but where is this fresh food? It's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away. Yeah, get in your car and go there. Oh, you may not have a vehicle, or you may not have the gas money for that vehicle. Take the bus. And let's see how practical that is for you to do every single day. Let's see how practical that is for you to do every week. And so, because you may already be living in a very distressed area, as well as just life in general, trying to have that willpower to do that every single day becomes unpractical. What becomes practical is just eating what's around you, eating what's readily available, which is the processed foods, which is the worst of the worst foods, the worst of the worst drinks. And when you look at the medical clinics that you have access to, they're going to be the worst of the worst medical clinics. I'm not going to say that the practitioners are the worst of the worst. I'm not saying that at all. The protocol, the actual literature that they're using to quote unquote treat people and advise people is going to be the worst of the worst. You're going to see pretty soon a level of fake care, concern, and love that we haven't seen since the United States Public Health Services invaded the community of Tuskegee, Alabama. Tuskegee, Alabama is where the Syphilis Experiment took place. The reason that experiment was able to take place and last for 40 freaking years is because they did it under the guise of free healthcare. They did it under the guise of, oh man, look at these black people suffering. Oh my goodness, it's horrible. They're being affected at such a high rate with this disease that we don't really know much about. We have to come in. We have to save them. We have to do for them. We have to, take care of them. And what happened? 40 years after that, you find out that the whole thing was a scam. You were getting tested on. They were trying to come up with the cure for syphilis. They came up with the cure 8 years into the actual program. They came up with the cure, penicillin. And then what did they do? Let's keep on running this little study to see what happens. Let's see how this affects them. Let's see how long they can deal with it. Let's watch them struggle. Let's watch them be terrorized by a disease that we have the cure for. And the whole time we're telling them that we don't have the cure, but this is going to help you. This is going to treat you. The men are suffering. The family is watching the men suffer. The son and the daughter are crying because the strong man that they once knew is now a shell of himself because he's in extreme pain. His wife is watching him with extreme pain. She may now even have contracted the condition, but these folks gave no care, no damn whatsoever. They didn't care at all. They sat back and watched this for 40 years. Now, mind you, this wasn't some offshoot group. Like, this wasn't some like a small group doing this. Like, it wasn't like a group of, radical people doing this. It was the United States Public Health Services. This was sanctioned by the government to take place for 40 years. For 40 years. So I told people when this whole thing started coming down, I gave my opinion about it. I made several videos about it. And what I was trying to get everybody to take from the video was just the recommendations that I made at the end of the video. The recommendations that I've been making since 2014 are this essentially similar recommendations that I'm making over here in 2020. And they're the basics. And I'm going to tell you what, those recommendations are not new. I'm not telling you something brand new. This is what people who came before me from our community who had our best interest in hand also said when it comes to fasting and water and sunlight. I know it doesn't seem sexy. It doesn't seem fancy. It seems too free to actually work, but it's the basics. It is the basics that's going to save you. And so I wanted people to grasp and focus on the foundation of what they need to do. That's why I made those videos. And that's why I wasn't going along with the whole fear mongering as far as the virus. And then you start to see people talk about, black people aren't affected. And people wanted me to speak on that. And I said, stand down. Stand down. The reason why I said stand down is because you don't know how these folks play. It's chess. They will allow you to go ahead and put yourself out there and front load enough content or videos of people aggressively saying something that they're going to use against you in the future. And that's what happened. So now, because that had become such a huge topic where, black people don't get the disease, black people, whether it's true or not, it was a huge topic. These folks were going to use it regardless. And so now that became such a big topic up here to the point where you had black influencers with millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers also talking about the comment, that's when they know, all right, they did it. They got it up there. You ever saw Ghostbusters? Like when you got to zap enough before you can throw the actual ghost trap out, like you have to actually weaken it before you can throw the ghost trap out. If you try to throw the ghost trap out too easy, too soon, it's not going to work. And so as soon as that became a topic, as soon as that became, essentially popular, something popular to talk about, now we see what we're dealing with now where, all right, it's starting to look like these folks are actually being affected the most. The ones that thought they were immune to it are actually being affected the most. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm leaning more so onto the fact because, once again, I'm saying it's based on history and how these folks typically play. Somebody could be dying because of congestive heart failure. And if they are positive for COVID-19, COVID-19 killed them as far as they're concerned. This could be going on. I don't know for sure, but what I am saying is that people could be having complications of a disease that they already had or a condition that they already had. But because we need those numbers and because we need those bodies, if they're positive, it could have been that. Let's go ahead and go with that because we need these numbers. And so now supposedly what you're starting to see is the numbers of African Americans stack up. This is what you're being told. And so now the conversation is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And so I guess yesterday, you see the press conference where they're talking about how African Americans are affected. Fauci gets on there and talks about the disparities. And essentially, when this is all said and done, we have to make sure we address that. Bro, this is a hustle waiting to happen. What's going on, Gala? Yes, I'm live right now. This is a hustle in the making. This is strategic. Once again, the health conditions, I've been saying that the health conditions of our community are in shambles. I've been saying that look at the rates of our heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, been banging the drum. And then there are other people who have been doing the same thing that come from our community. And these are the people that I recommend we listen to. Because those folks that I'm telling you right now, the ones who have a long record in this actual, this topic, you should be listening to them. You should probably listen and see at least what they have to say. Because you at least know that they have a track record of being in community and doing for you or speaking the information. They're not going to be the Johnny-come-latelys that you're about to see right now. You're about to see an influx of Johnny-come-latelys saying that, yo, we got to help black people out. We got to help them out. Don't forget about your day ones. Don't forget about the people who've been doing this work. They will most likely have a different story, a different narrative, different recommendations and advice that you're going to see coming from the health care in general. And what I'm saying is now you are definitely going to have to use you're going to have to be critical as far as who you are going to pay attention to more. Because what they already knew is the same thing we already knew. Our community is in a bad condition, horrible condition. Malcolm X said, when America gets a cold, we get the flu or pneumonia. And in this case, it's coronavirus, pneumonia, it's all of those things now in this case. And we've been saying this. And we've been fighting and pushing it back against this. And for the most part, most of us are empowering you. We're not scaring you. We're empowering you. We're giving you information that you can do right in your home. Fasting doesn't cost much money. Fasting doesn't cost any money. Drinking water, getting sunlight, these things don't cost money. Exercising doesn't cost money. There's so many things that don't cost money. The way you get a disease is by not doing those things. The way you get a disease or quote unquote disease is by eating the very food that is approved by the government, the very food that's approved by the FDA. Eating those processed foods is how you get the high blood pressure, the type 2 diabetes, the high cholesterol, the obesity. That's how you get the disease. Drinking dirty water that the government knows about right now is how you get sick. That's how you become vulnerable. 2014, Flint, Michigan, dirty water. 2020, Flint, Michigan, dirty water. Come on, bro. Come on. And now they care? Now they're going to act like they care. We've been sick. The numbers have been here. People have been known. And now you're about to see this aggressive level of we have to do for them. And let me tell you what that means. Doing for you and helping out the disadvantaged communities means more little raggedy, dinkety little medical clinics in your community. Sitting right next to the Chinese restaurant, sitting right next to the dollar spots. Caring for you and doing for you means more medications, more pills, more devices, and more vaccinations. Listen, Pills becoming, that's old. You taking medications on a daily basis is old. That's old school. Pharmaceutical industries know this. That's old school. People are assuming us too much. We're not even making money from that no more. The new kid on the block is vaccination. I told y'all back in 2015 about the blood pressure vaccine that was being worked on. Y'all gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. These folks are not your friends and they don't like you like that. What? All of a sudden they just realized that African Americans have a disproportionate amount of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. Like, they just figured that out? Trust me. Look, if you think that these folks are going to honestly come in and help you out and do right by you, you have another thing coming for you. The guise of free healthcare is how they're going to infiltrate these other things in the community. That's how it's going to happen. And so, open your eyes. Everybody, open your eyes. Think logically. We already knew what was going on. It's because of the foods. And that's something we have to, there's a spell. The community as a whole has had a spell casted on us. And that spell is that it runs in my family. It's a very deadly curse. For you to say, my mama got it, my daddy got it, it runs in my family. One, you are affirming that that is true. And you are affirming that that's going to happen to you. And you are affirming that that's going to happen to your little ones. Very dangerous, very toxic. Now, mind you, nobody's going to show you an actual genetic code. Nobody's going to show you anything DNA-wise that shows that blood pressure is running through your family. Nobody's going to show you anything that shows type 2 diabetes running through your family. But what I can show you is the parent of somebody who has a child, and that parent is a type 2 diabetic or has high blood pressure. I can show you what they're eating, and I can show you what the child eating, and I can tell you whether or not that child may develop type 2 diabetes. If they're eating the very foods that the parents are eating, which is the processed foods, the very foods that are sitting right in your community right now in those plazas. If the children are eating those same foods, most likely they're going to get the same thing. If the children don't eat those foods and the children eat whole foods, the children get outside and run and get exposed to the sun and drink water and not these high fructose corn syrup juices and not these boxes of cereal and the chips. If the kids stay away from those things and they eat whole foods, they're not going to get those conditions. And if the parents do the same thing, they will reverse those conditions. These are not diseases that just run in your family. They are not. We have this thing, which, once again, it was forced on you, pretty much beaten into submission to think this way. And that's the same way they were able to get into the community of Tuskegee, Alabama. Bad blood was the term back then. It runs in my family is now the new term, is now the new bad blood. They scared the crap out of black people back then by saying, yo, they got bad blood. You got bad blood. We're testing you for bad blood. We're testing you for bad blood. We want to see who has bad blood. All right, he has bad blood. We're going to come up with a treatment. Would you like to be a part of our trial? Hell yeah, I want to be part of it. I got bad blood. And I don't know anything about bad blood. You know everything about bad blood. Trust me, there were black healers back then. And there were black healers back then saying, bro, don't, they just finished lynching your cousin. Don't listen to them. They just finished burning down our business and our community. Don't listen to them. How do they love and care for you so much on this side and burn you down on this side? Don't listen to them. But they listen. And 40 years later, now we see what's going on. Now we see what's happening. Look, they don't like you like that. They don't like you like that. So we just gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it real. It is on us. I always said we don't need some big outside intervention to come in and take care of the issues that we are facing in our community. We don't. Heart disease, high blood pressure, kidney disease, type 2 diabetes. To stop that from happening, we don't need some big outside intervention. We don't. The only thing we need to do is eat better, move better, drink better, getting outside into the sunlight, into the fresh air. Because when these folks start putting you on more medications, start getting you hooked up to more machines, dialysis, they are trying to make you as dependent on them as possible. They need you to be dependent. They need you to play this game. I told you it is a burning building and they need you in there. And once you get in there, they want to make you as comfortable with that burning building as possible. They're going to give you a jacket that can't burn. They're going to give you a non-flammable jacket. They're going to give you ice that won't melt. They're going to give you lemonade that has a whole bunch of sugar in it at the bottom. Anything to keep you cool and comfortable in this burning building. That's what they're going to do. Whatever you do, don't listen to the building and don't listen to the crazy guy telling you, get out the fire exit, get out the window. This building is burning and you're going to burn. Like, don't listen to those guys. They're crazy. That's what you see going on right now. And so what I'm telling you is that any black healer that you've known previously that has been consistent in their message about the liberation of black people and their health, you need to be listening to them right now. I don't care what type of dietary regimen they're pushing. I don't care how they feel about the different aspects of diet. What I'm telling you is that if they have been consistent and they have been on the ground putting in work, because one thing I know for sure is that their business structure, whatever they got going on, has not been lucrative. It just, they've probably been making it, but as far as excelling, exceeding, that was not the case. And so if they are able to continue to be consistent in their message about black health and what we can do for year after year after year, you should rock with them. You should listen to them because they're not doing it for money. That's for damn sure. They're not doing it for money. So you can tag people below. You can, if you know of black healers, black health experts that are not a part of the system. Don't tag nobody who's part of that damn system. That are not a part of the system. That see things differently. That understands that, yo, the foods make you sick. The drinking makes you sick. The medications make you sick. Listen, man. These folks say we got to take aggressive action, right? These folks say we have to take aggressive action to flatten the curve. Therefore, we're not leaving any stone unturned. Okay, cool. Let's turn over every single stone. With that being said, we are now taking aggressive, like we're staying in our house. I'm a grown ass man. I have a curfew at 11 p.m., right? 6 feet apart everywhere you go, mask on, like you about to kick in somebody's doors. People got on gloves. Like this is happening all around. That's pretty aggressive, right? That's pretty aggressive. You would think that if we want to be so aggressive in flattening this curve, one might say something about the horrible foods that most people are eating and have been eating. One might speak on processed foods and how it slows down your immune system. One might speak on the sodas and the juices that slow down your immune system for up to 4 hours. One might say something about now is the time to drink water. Now is the time that you might want to stop eating 6 freaking meals a day. One might say something about these natural things that you can do in your house without having any outside intervention. One might say that if they truly cared about human life. They don't care about human life. They already have what they're going to do in their mind, and they're just making this thing go out. They want to make sure that they beat the masses into submission for whatever's going to come after this whole outbreak, this pandemic. And so they need you to be outraged as possible, because if they truly cared about human life, then they'll be dropping some signs as far as, listen, Whole Foods, stop eating this processed crap. I know everybody's sitting in the house for the next 3 months, and I know the chips are on deck. I know the donuts are on deck. I know the Twinkies are on deck. I know the Snodas and the snack packs are on deck. Don't eat it, because that makes you more vulnerable to the virus. Don't do it. They're not going to say that shit. You know why? FDA, Food Drug Administration, the very same organization that is responsible for clearing this vaccine that everybody's sitting in the house waiting for, is going to be the same organization that is approving the very foods that's making you sick. Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, yeah. We got to wake up and see they don't like you like that. If they liked you like that, if they cared about you like that, then our health would have been in way much situation than it is right now. When we look at America, well over 50% of the American population, the adults, have some type of comorbidity. I'm sorry, it's 71%. Have some type of comorbidity. 71%. We're talking about damn near 3/4 of America. There's 350 people in this country. 350 million people in this country. How is 70% of your adult population sick? It doesn't sound like health is your main agenda. It doesn't sound like health improvement means that much to you. Because if it meant that much to you, there's no way in the world you could have that many people who are adults that have some type of comorbidity. There's no way in the world. When it comes to the young population, 17 to 24, you're looking at 50% of that group, they can't even get into the military because they're not healthy enough. Once again, health can't be your main priority. It can't be. But now, they're about to show you, look, health is our main priority. We got to make sure we do right by y'all, and this is what we're going to do. They don't like you like that. They don't like you like that. African Americans, black people, I shouldn't have to convince y'all that they don't like you like that. There's these articles floating around talking about all kinds of things, man. And trust me, this is all strategic. This is all chess. They're going the same way they use those videos of people claiming that African Americans or black people won't get the condition. Once again, whether it's true or not, that's not even the point. The front loading of that content, they knew that was going to happen. They took those videos, those are circulating around the actual internet. You may not be seeing it because you're not in their targeting audience. You're not the targeting audience. But the temperature need to be taken, and they need to see that there was a feel of the climate, of the environment, that, oh, they think they're good. Good. This is what we want them to think. Because once they start making such a loud ruckus, a big deal about this, we're going to hit them with the hammer. Now, I don't know, like I said, once again, I don't know if this is true, whether or not African Americans are being disproportionately affected by COVID-19 when it comes to death. Because once again, you don't know how these folks play. If nobody's there to make people be honest as far as why this person died, and they test positive for COVID-19, which, look, when this thing is all said and done, you're going to see that a lot of people had COVID-19. They just didn't know it. A lot of people had, if you get the right test, a lot of people are going to see that, you either have it or you've had it at some point. So if somebody who has congestive heart failure starts having complications of heart failure and they unfortunately die and they're positive for COVID-19, if somebody has a stroke right now and they're positive for COVID-19. If somebody has diabetes complications that sends them into a diabetic coma and they're positive for COVID-19, COVID-19. Keep on racking up these deaths. Now, what we already know is that African Americans, for the most part, are at top of all of these categories when we're talking about the comorbidities, the high blood pressure, the type 2 diabetes, obesity, and on and on and on and on. Asthma as well, too. But once again, what do these environments look like? What do these environments look like? Because to say that they are, because trust me, they are going to use you. They're going to use our pain and our tears and our suffering. Because it's one thing when one group does it, when one group makes videos and one group makes a big issue, like, it's one thing, do your thing. They got their own swag, they got their own style. But when African Americans, when black people get their hand on it, it's some type of magic about it where they make this shit go viral. Everybody hears about it. It's dope. Everybody wants to. It's something about this group, and they're like, we need them to make a big deal out of it, not us. Like, these folks are influential as hell. I don't know why, but we need them to make a big fuss out of it. We need them to make a big deal out of it. And once that starts happening, we can now start to make our case for certain policies to take place. We can now make our case to be invasive when it comes to people's civil liberties. And that's what, like, y'all don't want to be free, huh? People are about to give up their civil liberties like you've never seen before because of what they're seeing or what they think they're seeing. What they're being told. So the conditions that we are seeing right now or hearing about right now, they always were. They were always there. That's why I call it the reality that was always there. We've always been in these high numbers. But people who can speak right now, let me see. I don't know how far this video is going to go, but if you had a condition or have a condition and you have reversed it or dramatically improved it by only doing lifestyle, please say something in the chat for the people, because we believe that this thing is impossible. For the most part, our community believes it's impossible. So if you have something beneficial you can say to people as far as just giving some hope and giving some type of insight, please put a comment below. Put a comment below. But there's so many, there's so much strong evidence. there's extreme strong evidence that you may not be hearing about as pertains to vitamin D right now. Who's been talking about vitamin D like crazy and calling it a hormone and telling you that's a hormone, and that the country as a whole is vitamin D deficient? But when it comes to African Americans, yo, forget about it. That is our own personal epidemic we have going on in our community, being vitamin D deficient. I've been telling you that being vitamin D deficient means that you're playing at an extreme disadvantage. You're playing at an extreme disadvantage. You're vulnerable to everything. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, asthma, pneumonia, COVID-19. Like, you're vulnerable to everything because your body needs that hormone D. It's one thing when other groups are vitamin D deficient. That's bad. That's a problem. But that would be like having a cold. However, when you're dark skinned, you're brown, you have the ability to tan, and you're vitamin D deficient, that is a whole nother problem. Prostate, breast cancer. Look at the correlation between being vitamin D deficient and all of those problems. You're vulnerable. And so with so much research that's coming out and being body, like these researchers, this evidence is coming out and is being placed in the trunk. You're not even going to see it. But with so much coming out from these different countries, like Ireland is talking about, Ireland has made it mandatory for their hospital staff, their old folks home, their populations, the population in general, to take vitamin D on a daily basis, because they did 2 studies and they're like, oh shit, we need vitamin D because your immune system is going to be crap when it comes to any type of infection, any type of respiratory infection, and you're vitamin D deficient, man, forget about it. It's not going to work out well. And so if we know these things to be true, like, why are these things not recommended? These folks have gone forward to print out pamphlets and send out all these emails about how to wash your hand. And that's cool. Please continue to wash your hand. But where's the pamphlet about whole foods? Where's the pamphlet about water? Or just, you don't have to send a pamphlet out. That's a lot of money. Just get on stage and say, yes, it is true. Eating processed foods makes you sicker. Eating processed foods compromises your immune system. Being out in the sunlight improves your immune system. Drinking water improves your health as a whole. Fasting, eating once a day versus eating multiple times a day, 6 times a day, that's bad. This is good. Like, where is that at? Because these things are true. These things are time. They've been tested. This new stuff that they're about to come out with that has not been tested. Come on now. Come on. Please let me know I'm making sense or something. So many people will go for it. And then there's going to be some that won't go for it. You have to decide which side you're going to be on. You have to decide who you're going to listen to or use to help get your journey started. But once again, man, like I said, like your time in this thing is almost like a credit score right now. If these folks are brand new and they popping up repeating the same stuff that those folks are talking about, yo, run away. Run away. Because if they just coming in with that cookie cutter information, get away from them. However, if they are well studied and they have been in this content, this topic, this arena for years and years and years on end, and their message has been consistent, you should listen to what they're saying. There's already books. There's plenty of books written by the greats in our community that tell you what to do. We just got to listen to them. We just got to read it. Like, come on. At some point, we have to realize that their ice is not colder. At some point, we have to realize that their ice is not even real ice. It's Fisher-Price plastic ice. At some point, we have to come to that reality. How do you have a market such as type 2 diabetes be a multi-billion-dollar industry year after year after year after year after year after year after year? And the best they can tell you each year is that it's a chronic condition. It's a lifelong condition. There's nothing you can do. We did a lot of research on it. There's nothing you can do. However, we have this new medication. However, we have this new injection. You only got to do it once a week. However, I know the last medication didn't work out well. I know the last medication increased pancreatic cancer. I know the last medication caused a lot of side effects. But look, we got a medication right now. This one's a banger. It's going to work out. Trust us. We got you this time. I know the other medication increased your heart attack risk. I know it did. I know the other ones increased stiffening of the artery. I know it did. Our bad. But this one we got right here, this one right here, oh, this one hit hard. How many times they gonna do this? Yo, look up Avandia. Look up Avandia. Where did Avandia go? Where they at? Take Avandia and multiply Avandia by 1,000. And that's what they have been doing historically. And so the reason why I tell you don't mess with the media, these folks that are on these news, I don't care which side of the aisle they on. They playing you. They are acting like they're enemies. They're acting like they're Crips and Bloods. They're not no damn Crips and Bloods. These fools are Shaq and Kobe. One throwing up the alley hoop, the other one slamming it down. Look what he did. Can you believe he said that? Yeah, and I'll say it again. Bam. Look what they're saying. Can you believe that? Yeah, and I'll say it again. Bam. And you are subtly being entertained. You don't even know it's become your daily entertainment. People don't even realize this. And so you're sucked into this show. You're sucked into this narrative of good versus evil, or left versus right, or red versus blue, thinking that they're against you, or thinking that they're against each other and one's for you. But what I'm telling you is, man, they're both the same. They're both the same. They're both the same, working towards a common goal. And that goal does not have your interest in hand. So at some point, we're going to have to make the decision to close them out and do for self. At some point, you're going to have to make the decision and accept the fact that you are your own primary care provider. You are your own, health begins and start with you. You're going to have to break open some books, or you're going to have to do some Google research about how fasting affects the body. You're going to have to understand what high blood pressure is and what type 2 diabetes is. Luckily for many of you, myself and other black healthcare practitioners, or other black health coaches, or just advocates in general, have already done a lot of that work for you. We may not go through it the same way, but many times our conclusion is the same. Eat real whole foods. Drink water. Stop the juice. Get out into the sunlight. You need sunlight. Don't eat 6 times a day. Fast. Eat 1 meal a day. So we may not go through it the same way, but when we come out to our conclusions, when you look at Dr. Lalea Africa, same recommendations. Dr. Sebi, same recommendations or similar recommendations. Queen of Four, similar recommendations. Elijah Muhammad, similar recommendations. The list goes on. Avina Fulton, similar recommendations. We have the evidence. You don't have to rock out with me. That's completely fine. But please choose one of these folks that have been on the ground working for you in your interests for years and years and years without being really compensated. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a black health coach out there, or you out here with your own business and you're working for the community, I know you're not really making it like that. You got to have other things going on. I know that. And so if you can take somebody like that who is not doing it for the money, clearly, but be consistent, they love you, man. They love you. These folks that you're about to see coming in your community, they are there for the bag. And they are there to use you as the guinea pig. That's right. I mean, look at history. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. Just look at the history. Look at the history. So let me read the comments. Yo, share the video. Once again, I have a video coming out at 3:30 today. And the overall moral of the story in that video coming up is that we're not destined to be sick, but we have been positioned to be sick. You have to understand what that means. You have to understand why it's so detrimental to think that these things just run in your blood vein. You have to understand why it's so detrimental to believe that we are just helpless. You have to understand why these things are a problem. And you have to understand why the only people you can trust is your own group. And you have to do for yourself. And once again, people, we're going to be broken up into segments. Like, some people are going to want to run into that building. You got to understand, Western healthcare runs circles around many other places when it comes to emergency situations, emergent accidents, war, gunshots, surgeries. They run circles. Like, I would definitely say that they're the best. From what I've read and from what I've been seeing, like, second to none. But when it comes to these chronic conditions, these lifestyle conditions, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, no, because they're trying to treat it as if it's an acute issue. They're trying to treat chronic issues as if it's an acute issue. What do you do in an acute issue? In an acute issue, we risk it all. You might die. Therefore, slam them with this medication. Give them this fluid. Do this procedure. And then they come to the chronic side. What do? Slam them with this medication. Do the procedure. We might have to cut this off. They're treating it the same. But not only that, your practitioner may have the best interests, may have the best intentions, may really like you and even love you. But it's not about them. It is about the protocol, and it is about the guidelines. And this is what I've been this is what I've been saying for year after year after year after year after year, and people get into their feelings. It's not about the individual themselves. It is about the system. The system dictates the protocols, the guidelines. In those protocols, in those guidelines, the hustle is already baked in. Hustle's already baked in. Blood pressure slightly too high, shake it one more time. Have them come back in 2 weeks. And if it's still high, put them on medications. Start them on hydrochlorothiazide or ACE inhibitor. Start on hydrochlorothiazide. Well, lo and behold, hydrochlorothiazide also increases insulin resistance. Oops, my bad. Now your A1C is going up. No problem. Let's put them on metformin 500 milligram once a day or maybe twice a day so that they don't become a type 2 diabetic. Give or take a year, what happens? You're a type 2 diabetic. And they have now gotten money from you and your insurance company for a year in advance before you even becoming an actual patient for them, or before you even became eligible for that diagnosis. Oh, that medication is a little hard in your liver? Well, let's get them some medications for his cholesterol. And let's also put him on another blood pressure to protect his kidneys, ACE inhibitor, lisinopril. And the whole time, nobody's getting better. The whole time, no one is getting better. What is the number needed to treat somebody with high blood pressure with medications before you can prevent heart attack? What's the number needed to treat? Well, why don't you just type in nnt.com and go find that out. It's going to be horrifying when you find it out. These medications don't work. Yes, they may work as far as making your numbers lower. They may work as far as giving you a lower number on the blood pressure cuff. They may work as far as showing your A1C decreased on the actual lab work. But as far as improving your overall health, your mortality, and your morbidity, they don't work. They don't work. People are taking medications and still having the final outcome of a stroke or a heart attack or kidney disease. Whether they're taking the medications or not, the only thing that has been shown to work time after time after time after time again is lifestyle. Look, I don't get no money from you eating healthy. I don't get any money from that. I don't get any money from you fasting. I don't get any money from that. You going outside, getting sunlight, and drinking water, I get no money from that. I don't. You can do this without having me coach you at all. And so I have no financial ties to you doing those things. I just can't. So as far as what I have to gain, as far as finances go, I don't have anything to gain. However, I do have children that are going to grow up in a community where your children are growing up at, and it's going to be up to them to continue to push on our people. And if they are coming into a community where it's just accepted that, we sick, like that's just how we roll, like You black, I'm black. One thing we know is we get sick. We get diabetes at the age of 32. That's just how it rolls. So go ahead and take your medications. Well, what we're going to have is a population that is going to become a permanent underclass when it comes to health. And it will be to the point where a baby is born, along with the 5,100 vaccines that they're going to get. They're also going to get metformin, and they're also going to get the some type of something for their blood pressure as well too. Because although you may not be sick right now, the way black people are, you're going to be sick. So let's go ahead and just treat you right now, because you know how you little bastards, you know how these little babies are. They get sick. So let's go ahead and treat them. And what's going to happen, without you even know it, you won't even own your life. You won't even be in control of anything. Because when the next pandemic happens, which another one will happen, it will happen. Look at what you have access to right now. What do you have access to? Huh? Where's the hand sanitizers? Where's the mask? Where's the tissue? What do you have access to? So there's things that are very basic to life that it's hard to get your hands on, right? Thankfully, there are other things you can do to replace those things, right? But what if it was medications that you need? And some people are actually going through this right now. What if it's medications that you actually need? What if you need your lisinopril? Even though lisinopril right now is not doing too hot in the arena of COVID-19. What if you need your ACE receptor blocker? Even though right now those medications are not doing too hot right now when it comes to the COVID-19. Look, you can do it. You can look it up yourself. Look up lisinopril and COVID-19, or an ACE inhibitor in COVID-19, or ARB, ACE receptor blocker, in COVID-19. Once you finish looking at that correlation, look up zinc and immunity. How does zinc affect your immunity? Once you do that, then look at how these ACE inhibitors affect zinc. So one might say that by being so dependent on this system that has historically shown you they don't like you like that, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. One might say that. One might say that. Now, once again, back to what I was saying as far as being dependent. Imagine if it was the medications that you needed, that you don't have right now. The insulin that you need, that you don't have right now. People will do anything they need to do to get their medications. They will be compliant as hell to get their medications. And so what you now have, or what you will have, is a situation where back then you controlled them, but now you really control them. You really control them. And I'm not going to, get too visual or graphic or project too much. But what I'm saying is that this is your time right now to learn all you can learn about yourself and your health and how to improve your health. If you're thinking that these folks truly have your best interest in mind, you have another thing coming for you. Once again, your health care practitioner may truly have your best interest in mind. The system as a whole, these talking heads, the left and the right, the media, you thinking that these are separate entities working against each other, you're crazy. You're crazy. There's Shaq and Kobe. Alley hoop, Shaq, slam it. These people are wolves, man. Wolves. So share the video. Check out the video that I have coming up at like 3:30, I believe. Listen to what I'm saying. And once again, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just asking you to think for yourself. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because when this is all said and done, once again, like I said, because there's such a disparity, now the attention is going to be there. And now what people are going to say is, they're going to this is how war works. This is how hustle works. We create a problem, or we see a problem that's already taken place, and we find a way to exploit that problem. So, see a problem, exploit the problem. Let the people beg for solutions, and then say, look, we don't want to take such aggressive action, because if we take aggressive action, we're kind of overstepping our boundaries. We're kind of overstepping our limits. We're kind of overstepping our, other people's liberties. And the people are going to be like, since they're so afraid and since they're so lost, they're going to be like, overstep, do it, please. And they're like, are you sure? People are like, yes. And we're like, are you sure you're sure? I'm like, please do whatever you can to save us. And I'll be like, all right. They're going to roll out a plan so fast. You're like, damn, y'all work fast. How the hell y'all had this all ready so fast? Like, yo, that was quick. They're like, we just work around the clock. You know, that's how we do. The whole time they had that shit ready because it's chess, not checkers. So your communities are going to look different. People in your communities, coming in your communities to save you, are going to look different. The things that they're offering are going to sound very nice. They're going to sound very fancy and beneficial. But you're going to have to ask yourself, how much does this all really help? How much did it help before? Like, you can actually look right now. You can go to a website called NNT.com. NNT stands for number needed to treat. People who are taking blood pressure medications, diabetic medications, cholesterol medications, forget about it. Forget about it. You should really be asking, out of 100 people, how many people do I need to give this medication to before I save them for a condition? Now, in many cases, you're going to see you need more than 100. We need to be treating 800 people before we can get one person saved. But you need to know, as a person who is taking this medication, how effective are these medications? Like, that's what you need to know. Like, if you're taking medications thinking that it's going to help you prevent a heart attack, a stroke, or kidney failure, you should know how effective this medication is. You should know. It's important. Because if the medications are not effective, why is it pushed so hard? And like, why am I taking it? Like, you making me take medications that's making me go to the bathroom every 30 minutes at night. You're making me take medications that's causing your spouse to have erectile dysfunction. Like, you're making them take medications that's causing your blood pressure to go up, or causing your cholesterol to go up, or causing your insulin to go up. Like, you're taking medications that seem like they're tag teaming the hell out my body and the hell out my health. Why am I taking these medications if they don't actually prevent the thing that I'm concerned about? Why? Not only that, did they even talk to you about what else you could do before taking the medication? Because I will tell you this now, it is completely your choice. Many people may not even want to do the whole healthy eating. Many people may not want to do the walking or the sunlight. Then the system is perfect for you. Like, if you don't want to have individual responsibility, if you don't want to actually take care of yourself, the system is perfect for you. Like, they got you. Like, y'all are a match made in heaven, because you will depend on them and they will grant you no benefits and you will be just fine with it. So the system is perfect for you. But if you are one of those people who truly are trying to improve your health, well, my opinion is that the system is not for you. Like, if you're trying to actually prevent heart attacks and type 2 diabetes and kidney failure and strokes, like, the system is not for you, because these folks are trying to get you into a PPD, pill, procedure, or a device. How can we fit you in there? And now you can add vaccine to it, because like, that is the new hotness on the block right now. Like, that's the new hot shit on the block right now. So you're just gonna have to wake up and realize that they don't like you like that. Make your decision. We have a plethora of videos on YouTube, videos on this platform right here. But also, you know, who else have you been following that has been speaking truth, regardless of what's going on? Because it's the people that quickly change their directions based on what somebody else is saying that you don't want to mess with, because those are going to be the same ones that's going to give you the same cookie cutter information that they're about to give you right now. So let me go back and read the comment. I hope y'all got what I'm saying. Do me a favor, share the video. Let me go back. Oh, there's a lot of comments. All right, so Philip, what's going on, Philip? Diana says, what's the topic? Are you talking about syphilis? Yeah, I was only talking about syphilis because of the Tuskegee Syphilis Experiment, and how, you know, they, once again, problem, reaction, solution. Create a problem or exploit a problem that's already going on. Wait to see the reaction from the people. If you're not getting the reaction from the people that you need or want, stir the goddamn pot. Like, stir it. Like, turn it up. Show them more trauma. Show them more evidence that it might be coming to them soon. Like, show them more. If you get the response that you want, now you offer them a solution. And most likely they'll take the solution. So That's what happened back then. Bad blood was the corridor. The response was, we don't want to have this bad blood. What can we do? And free healthcare was the guise. It was the disguise that they used to as a solution. And the whole damn time they were being tested on these folks. It was an experiment that went on for 80 years to find the cure for syphilis. Within 8 years, they found the cure for syphilis. And the other 32 years, we're just being evil. You know what I'm saying? Like we just doing us. So that's why we're talking about syphilis. What's going on, Latanya? What's going on, Priscilla? What's going on, Diana? Which was so dangerous for those content creators to say? Gela. What's going on? What's going on, Gela? Yes. Why are they saying only black people are dying? Yeah, no, not only. Definitely not only. Diana says, but then it could be said that some of those people who are counted as flu death may not be true. Yeah. So what you're talking about is, what I said earlier, as far as I truly believe, once again, that, this whole virus in general has been in America since December. Like they started talking about it in Wuhan, China back in November. Regardless of what's really true or not, what I know is that a virus spreads very easily, and epidemiologists, health practitioners in general knows that viruses spread very easily. And so if it's in one area of the country or the world, give or take, that's highly traveled, give or take 2-3 weeks, it's going to be around the world. And so people were most likely exposed to this in America since December. If they do real antibody testing, I think they're going to see that a lot of people were already exposed to it. And if they do mass testing right now, like, you're going to see that a lot of people have it. Like, a lot of people will test positive for it. And so the reason why I bring that up is because who is going to be there in the middle of all this hysteria? Who's going to be there, like, to actually say, okay, this person didn't die of COVID-19. They are positive for COVID-19, but they died from congestive heart failure. They died from complications of type 2 diabetes. They died from influenza. Like, they died from something else. Who's going to be there to say, so don't put the check mark over there, put it over here with heart disease? Who's going to be there? Especially if I have a mission, if I have an agenda, if I have an objective, and I need these bodies, I need this count. Like, who's going to be there to say, no, move your hand over here and then check that one? I don't know. I don't know who's going to be there to do that. So Eddie says, I believe this statement is pretty much on point. There's no facts to support what the media is saying about the virus suspecting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I question all of it. It's the media. It's the media. Like, this is the same group of people who were making you look like devils last month or the month before. Like, don't forget, like, man, come on, don't have such a short-term memory. They are who we always thought they were. They're always same people. Don't become so dewy-eyed. Like John Henry Clark would say, don't become so dewy-eyed about them. Same people. All right. What's going on, Imani, Linda, Keisha? What's going on? What's going on, Michelle? No, we have to do for ourselves. We definitely have to do for ourselves. They want the vaccine. Is all. I can't go for that. Yeah. Just wait. Michelle says, okay, yeah. Thank you. What's going on, Michelle? What's going on, Keisha? What's going on? What's going on, Frida? Thank you, Advocate. Thank you. What's going on, Tina? Sam? Right now, in the spirit, Most High is saying, Isaiah, read, my people perish for lack of... Yeah, knowledge. You gotta have knowledge yourself. You gotta have knowledge of your body. You have to at least have a basic understanding of your body. I mean, it's important. And it's even more important today because if you don't have just a general understanding of your body, people can hustle you. People can tell you anything. People can sell you a dream. Like, they will literally pimp you if you don't know the basics. They will say, yeah, baby, I'm gonna buy you a mansion. I'm gonna buy you this car. I'm gonna take you to the moons and back, and this and that. And the whole time it's just game. It's game, and then get dropped off and deuces. Don't go for it. All right. Yes, my sugar levels. Good. Absolutely. Good. What's going on? It does not run in the family, but it can pass down through the fevers. Yeah, so as far as the effects. You're talking about epigenetics. So like, yeah, there's a lot that can go on with epigenetics as far as how your environment influences your genes. And so when a mother is pregnant, when a woman is pregnant, she's a mother. Everything that's going on influences her baby. So yes, like the food that she's eating, her stress, her amount of vitamin D, like the amount of love she feels or she doesn't feel, all of those things affect her as well as affects that fetus. But not only that, the mother before her, like that conversation gets very deep, because what you know is that women come into this world with all of the ovid eggs they'll ever had, 220,000, I believe the number is, of eggs. And then when she starts to have menstruation, this is when the eggs start decreasing. So essentially, whoever's watching this, the moment your mother was born, you were already here. A part of you was already here. Your genetic makeup, the potential for you was already here. But not only that, the moment your mother and father made you and you were inside of your mother's womb, you were here back then too. And so, of course, if you think about it, you can keep on going back and back and back, right? It's a deep conversation. Edward, I'm finding more and more stories that are changing the public and news, medical field. She started here on Facebook Live regarding intermittent fasting being a cure for ridding diabetes, and especially diabetes in the body. I'm constantly telling family members it's not. Yeah, for real. I mean, if at this point, if your practitioner is not talking about eating healthy and fasting, like, yo, you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. Because if they have so much evidence for it, why are you still giving me these medications that's only making my numbers go higher, or that's causing me other problems? Like, at some point, you are going to have to make the decision to leave. Deuces, or find somebody else. All right. Danielle, you keep hearing these days in the phrase, we are going to get through this together. It's the same we as in we the people. Basically, basically not us black people. We better take care of ourselves. We are our only hope. Yeah, for real. Danielle's right on point. It's called victim of circumstance. Victim of circumstance is when they tell you to, they do all these campaigns like, drink milk. Milk does a body good. Like, milk is great for you. And then you carry your behind over there and you start drinking milk, and then you got to go to the bathroom right after that. Oops, my bad, you're lactose intolerant, or oops, my bad, you have allergies to this protein in the milk. Yeah, I know you've seen all of these slogans and all these commercials with the athletes and everything like that, us pushing milk, but we weren't really talking to you. We were just talking, but you just kind of insert yourself into the conversation, but we're not talking to you. When they start telling everybody, yo, don't go into the sun is bad, you can get skin cancer. And then now we look at the community, 85% of African Americans are vitamin D deficient, and you are suffering an extreme amount of pain right now because of that. And they're like, yeah, we weren't really specifically talking to you. We were just kind of, talking to we, the people, and you just kind of inserted yourself into our conversation. And so now you have black people, African Americans, black people who are providing health information, specifically talking to you, specifically going to bat and doing work for you, staying up late into the night, waking up early into the morning, doing work consistently on a daily basis. They are specifically talking to you, but what they're also finding out is that they are being ignored because many of us still believe that the system's ice is colder. Ricky says, can you explain to me about hypoglycemia? Okay. So if you type in the truth about diabetes, so like go to my Facebook page, go to the videos and type in search and type in truth about diabetes. You're going to find a video. It's like a hour and a half webinar that I did on the Facebook page. And we talk about hypoglycemia, low blood sugar in that video and why that happens. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Diabetes, high blood pressure, or learned behaviors that have been passed. Yeah, learned behaviors, lifestyle. That's right. We changed. Yeah, for sure. No problem. Good. Pharmaceutical industry end game is to have 100% saturation, healthy or not. Yeah, and that's what I call compulsive metric obsession. These folks are trying to get you into the thinking that your metrics matter. And also, your metrics is what determines whether or not you're healthy or not. And so your numbers have become the new idea of health. Where your blood pressure at? If you take a pill and your blood pressure gets down to 110/70, you're healthy. I know you feel lightheaded. I know you're dealing with erectile dysfunction. I know you don't feel like yourself. But based on your blood pressure and that pill you just took, you're healthy. High five. Good job. Or you can't find your hand, get your hand up. High five. All right, let's look at your blood sugar. Ooh, it's low. It's down. But yeah, I'm gaining weight like crazy. I know the insulin makes you gain weight. Insulin is actually a steroid hormone and actually is an anabolic hormone. And yeah, it makes you gain weight, but it gets that sugar down, don't it? Doesn't it? And so as far as we're concerned, like, that's healthy. That's good. You're just a little bit bigger. You just gained a little bit of weight. You should lose weight. You should lose weight. Keep that insulin down. Keep the sugar down, but also lose weight. The people talk out both sides of their face. No problem, no problem. You're welcome. I don't like using blacks as getting shortchanged. We must remember all the organic and natural foods and remedies we grew up with. Yeah, for sure. Still work now. Yeah, for sure. At least, all right, so Diana says at least 170 million people have some type of health issues. Okay, so that would be 50% of the population for sure. Yep. Can you speak on what a person can start doing, taking and eating if they need to gain weight? Gain weight? So I am not well versed as far as gaining weight for women. My advice when it comes to gaining weight is more of the for what I had to do when I was playing football for the University of South Florida. It was all about the heavy lifting, because the heavy lifting is like your blueprint. Like, that's actually your frame. Your body is going to tell you to eat more, but that's not the area that I really choose to be in right now. I most likely won't be in, but I'm sure there are people who can, show you how to gain weight in a healthy way. My area of expertise is decreasing weight, obesity, not just weight, but fat loss. And that's what we specialize at over here. And as far as if you want to know more about that or actually make that happen, we have the Fast Life 28-day challenge. We are having an emergency reboot of that challenge because of everything else going on. Oh, it's 2:00. I got a meeting right now for the challenge. So I'm late. I got to actually get on the meeting. But if you want to learn more about that as far as fasting, losing weight, diabetes, blood pressure, the challenge we're going to be restarting the challenge pretty soon. You click on the link to learn more about it. But as far as just getting more information, my YouTube page is a great resource. H-BAMN.com is a great resource. Please go over there, use the blog, watch the videos. I put in a lot of work, a lot of time as far as explaining and breaking down these things. Please, if you think you understand what high blood pressure is or type 2 diabetes is, I would ask you to watch my videos, because there's a very good chance that you have been miseducated as far as what those things are. If you think you understand how these medications work, you should watch those videos, because there's a very good chance that you have been miseducated. So the videos are there for now. So please go check them out, watch them, sit down, you and the family, check them out. I try to make them a little entertainment as well too. All right, so that's funny because Chan did the opposite. If someone was sick with COVID or was old, had issues, underlying issue was, okay, I guess you must not see too many cases in your location. Thank you for speaking the power of truth. It's going to happen regardless, one way or another. It was inevitable. Monty. Oh, 3-car Monty. Yep. They won't say because the companies that make the unhealthy stuff will sue them for defamation. Yeah, I mean, they, as far as making those recommendations that should be made, as far as the eating and everything like that, yeah, there's multiple reasons why they won't say anything about that. But the main reason is because, like, that's their homie. Like, they golf together, they go on the yacht together, they go to strip clubs. Like, they're family. Like, they're tight. Like, they get money together. So us thinking that they're so separate, nah, they're not. They're not. All right, y'all. I have to get this meeting started. I'm living witness. This is coming from a scientist and mathematician. Good, good, good. Thank you. I got your book, Done with Diabetes, and I've started intermittent fasting. Now I can't buy all the whole foods as of yet. Just the fasting rapidly dropped my A1C alone. Beautiful. Actually, I was just trying to see what would happen, and I surprised. Oh, good. Beautiful. Nice. Very nice. Wings of the same bird. Exactly. They're the same. They're the same. Keep on. Yes. What's going on from London? What's going on from London? Hope y'all doing well over there. Absolutely right. Yeah, appreciate that, Indel. Appreciate that. Okay, check out Trevor, what Trevor's saying. Good, good, good. Yeah, man, it's the foods. It's the foods. It's the foods. Like, they keep on trying to convince you that it's something else. Like, come on. Is you slick or is you stupid? Not you all. Them. Like, are you being slick or are you just stupid? And let me tell you, they are not stupid. They are definitely slick, though. All right, hospitals aren't in business of making people better. Yeah, so true. I see my own. Yeah, that's sad. It's unfortunate, but we have the time right now to do better. We're definitely in permanent underclass in a lot of forms, for sure. I was told that lie. So many of us in the UK would rather take free medicine. You better watch. Yeah, y'all gotta watch that free talk. That free talk. You gotta watch that. You gotta watch that. Medication getting the patients. All right, y'all. So I need to actually go ahead and get this meeting started because we have some things to get sorted out as far as this next challenge coming up. Once again, the challenge was actually canceled. We weren't going to do the challenge because of everything else going on. But then, you know how people are like, it's not about them, it's not about them. And then you mention their name and they're like, what'd you say? What you say? And so, be honest with you, I wasn't really expecting them to make that move until like later next month, in the next month. But it's earlier than expected. But either way, we can adapt. So we're going to be doing the challenge. We will let you all know more information right now. You can go ahead and sign up. It's open, but the dates are going to be different. All right. So sorry to change. What's the name of the website? Okay, Tiffany, if you're talking about it's the NNT, N Nancy Trouble, number needed to treat. That is a website that's going to pretty much tell you how many people need to be treated with a medication before you can actually see benefits from it. You're not going to like what you see. Why don't they know more about this than before now? What impact? Okay, so trying to read real quick. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation of the numbers going on right now. A lot of manipulation of the numbers going on. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna have to hop off. Shirley, go to my videos on either YouTube or you can just stay on Facebook. Shirley, go to my videos. In the section where it says search videos, type in metformin. Okay, so she's asking how dangerous is metformin. Type in metformin. One thing you all should also look up, like I said, this virus as well as COVID-19. This virus as well as ACE inhibitors like lisinopril and ARB, which is ACE receptor blockers. Because once again, if the goal is to really try to flatten this curve and take aggressive message, like, having people have a curfew, then we would think that we're looking at every single option. The options that should be looked at as well too are not being looked at, and they deal with medications, where medications, some would say, and some research has already been done to show that some medications may make you more vulnerable. And so if it really is about human lives, then that would be a talking point, that would be a conversation, and there would be some recommendations behind that on a mass level versus you hearing it from me inside of my SUV about your medication, lisinopril and COVID-19, or lisinopril and zinc. All right, so let me hop off, y'all. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Make sure you check out the video that's going to be premiering at 3:30. Once again, this video was done back in December, but it speaks very much to what's going on now and what you're going to see happen. Make sure you check that video out. Share this video. Share that video. And remember, we have what it takes. We don't need some big outside intervention. They're about to try to sell you on some outside intervention. All right, they're going to sell you on that right now. But we have what it takes, and it's very practical and basic steps that we can take every single day to improve our community. All right. So I love y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.